Hello, this is Lisa Shemensky with the Forensics Community, and in this video I will be showing you all how to use this, the Poetry and Prose binder. A lot of you guys use it, but are you using it effectively? In this video we'll go from an outside to inside approach to look at all the little intricacies and figure out how to use this thing effectively, make it enhance your performance. Alright, so just looking at what type of binder you're going to be using. I think these are all 9 inches, and it's a 9-inch binder. I don't know, it's a little tiny one. Get a good glimpse of it. It's the smallest binder I think you can buy at any kind of Office Max, any office supply store. Go get yourself one. When you're looking at what type of binder to get, as far as I know, there's no rules concerning what sort of color that you should have. I think the rules state that the binder shouldn't be distracting, which is a given, as the focus should be on you and your performance and your interpretation. But I'm just going to suggest that being a sheep in this situation is probably the best idea for you. So your little binder that you have, most people that perform in prose and poetry are going to have black binders. Not only are black binders good at making you sort of fit in with everybody and not being that random person in the round that had a blue binder who's just trying to stick out, black also serves a bunch of other purposes. One, black, if you get a little nick on your binder, I don't know if you guys can see this, but down here at the corner, I got a little tear in it just because my binder is so old. And it's easily fixed with a black Sharpie. And two, you guys are going to be wearing black suits and all this, and most of the clothing that you wear is black, so it just sort of helps it blend back into you. Again, making your face, some hand gestures that you have, the focal point, and of course your voice. Alright, now that we've talked about what sort of binder you should have and the appearance it should have, now it's time to sort of flip it open and see what you should have on the inside. I think most binders that you get now have these like little flaps on the inside, which are wonderful for carrying around, introductions. So if you want to brush up on your intro so you don't freeze while you're giving a performance, it's always a good idea to have it in here. But the only downside is when you're performing, you want to be careful that you don't have odd papers sticking out such as this. You want to make sure that any paper in there, if it does have a chance of being seen, that it's either folded down into a tiny little sheet of paper such as this, so it could fit inside the flap, down like this, so that even if you're performing and your binder sort of goes down a little bit too much, it should never be like this anyway when you're reading. It's kind of ugly and unsightly to look at. But if it does, judges might not be able to see it because you're standing up and they're sitting down. So just because of the changes in elevation, it might not be seen. But having a sheet of paper sticking out is very distracting. So I would suggest when you're performing anyway, all these little sheets that you have, I would say get rid of them. Only keep in things that you need. Introductions, stuff like that. And make sure they're tucked tight away, under like that. So chances of them being seen by anybody are very slim. It looks very professional and very put together. It's all part of the appearance. I know that your performance is what should be judged and your interpretation and all of that, but everybody knows people do base a little bit of their judgment on appearance. So make sure you look impeccable. Also, when you're talking about just stuff that goes inside of your binder, as you can see, I have tons and tons of pieces in here. Things that I used throughout the years, cuttings that I've made that I might have only used once at a tournament. But when you're performing, I would suggest that you only keep in your binder the 2 pieces that you're using for that tournament. So clearly, I'm over the limit. So I would suggest taking them out. It's less of a distraction for you. This actually happened to me once at a tournament. I had in a piece that I wasn't using. I just forgot to take it out of my binder, and I went to go do my introduction, and when I flipped back open, I accidentally opened up to the piece that I wasn't using. So I would definitely recommend taking out pieces you don't need. just so in case your finger slips while you close your binder, that little things like that don't happen to you, because it was sort of uncomfortable. Not only is that nice because it lessens the chances of you making a blunder like I did, but it also is just makes your binder really lightweight. And the binder's not really that heavy to begin with, but you're holding it in your hand for 8 minutes, so you want it something that's really comfortable and nice weight for you, so that you have full range of motion and your arm doesn't get tired. Okay, now that we've talked about how the binder should look on the inside, I think it's time to talk about the pages themselves. I am going to say that you should have black pages. Sorry, that's just my call. That's just my opinion on this. But I always thought it was very odd, and sort of like that moment when you see someone wearing black socks with brown sandals, like where you're just like, what's going on? Why would you do that? I don't understand why you would have white pages in a black binder. Every time you make a page turn, all you see is this flash of white, and it's just oddly placed and just very distracting. So go black. Please go black. Match your pages, please. Even if you have a blue binder, just match them. It just looks way better. As you can see, well, I don't know if you can see this, but I don't know if you can tell, but there's this shine on my pages, and that's my lamination. If you're doing black pages, you probably should use black construction paper because it's a heavier material and it'll hold up better. But even with that, all the little hole punches you have, if you don't laminate it or put it in some kind of little sleeve like this, chances are that your little hole puncher things it's going to tear. Your pages are going to start falling out. So give some lamination to it. Go ask your speech coach. The schools that you have, the school office, most of them have lamination machines, so your coach will be able to take care of this. No problems whatsoever. I prefer lamination. It's easier for me to grasp. I don't know, that's just my preference. I've seen people use these little sleeves. They're really convenient and they look really awesome in a binder, but I think they're really slippery. I used them for a little bit. I couldn't stand it. My fingers kept slipping on the pages, and I did not like it at all. So lamination, all the way for me. Something else that I've done, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a tape tab. All you do is just fold over some tape from this end of the page to the back side, and you have this nifty little tab, so that if you are having troubles gripping a page, all you need to do is grab the tape tag, and you're ready to go. And it's also just a really great way to, mark where your intro is, or mark if there's something important. It's just a good helpful tool you can use for your binder. Something else about the appearance of the page. When you're putting your piece into your binder, obviously type it out, because reading type font is far easier to do than if you're handwriting something out. But as you can see, the sizes of print on my pages, varies. There's a lot of type on this page, going to, hardly nothing. And why I've done this is I consider each page turn as a tool for me to be to signify a new scene change, basically. I think that with every flip of the page, it should be either a new idea coming into play or going to a new scene, something like that. And, I don't think there's any specific amount that you should have on a page. It's whatever feels right to you and what feels good for your character and the piece. Something that I've also done is, if you go to this page, you can see that I kind of made it choppy and very broken apart. And with each paragraph, to me it was helpful to break everything up for when I thought there should be some sort of pause or some kind of new element happening. And in this I made it very choppy because my character is just discovering something really creepy in this yellow wallpaper that's hanging on her wall. So it's sort of a visual reminder to me of there's something happening and I'm slowly realizing this, and it's really creeping me out. So these are just some things you can do to help make your performance a little cleaner, little bit more professional. Using your page turns effectively, I think will give you that edge later on in the season with competition.
all will be revealed.